I found the mirror at an estate sale in Tacoma, wedged between a water-damaged credenza and boxes of moldering National Geographics. The woman running the sale, 70-ish with nicotine-stained fingers, told me it had belonged to her sister, a performer of some kind, she said. Died young. The mirror was Victorian, she thought, or maybe Edwardian. She didn't know the difference, and neither do I. What mattered was the frame, ornate brass worked into Art Nouveau curves, and the way the glass seemed to hold light differently than it should. I didn't realize at the time that mirrors don't just reflect performers, they archive them. Helps with stage presence, the woman said, lighting a cigarette despite the no smoking sign she posted herself. That's what my sister always claimed. I paid $40 and loaded it into my Honda, certain I'd just bought the thing that would finally push my subscriber count past the 1,000 mark. My streaming setup wasn't much. A light ring, a decent webcam, a microphone I'd saved 3 months to afford. I did variety content, mostly whatever seemed to be trending. Makeup tutorials one week, true crime commentary the next, cooking disasters that were supposed to be funny, but mostly just made me look incompetent. I had been stuck at 847 subscribers for 6 months. The algorithm had decided I wasn't worth promoting, and I couldn't figure out how to change its mind. I positioned the mirror behind my setup so it would appear in the background of my streams. It caught the light beautifully, adding a touch of old-world elegance to my cramped apartment corner. The brass gleamed. The glass seemed deeper than it should be, like you could fall into it if you stared too long. That first stream, I gained 63 subscribers. I talked about the mirror during the broadcast, mentioning finding it at an estate sale, spun it into a story about hidden treasures and the importance of knowing your worth. Chat loved it. They said I looked different, glowing, someone typed, more confident. Another said my skin looked airbrushed, but in a natural way, not the usual filtered-to-death Instagram face. The comments kept coming, faster than I could read them. By the time I ended the stream, 3 hours later, my follower count had jumped to 934. The next morning, I checked my analytics obsessively. The stream had been clipped 17 times. Viewers were posting screenshots. In each one, I looked striking in ways I couldn't quite identify. My features were sharper somehow, my eyes brighter. I looked like a version of myself that had gotten 8 hours of sleep and stayed hydrated and never stress ate an entire sleeve of Oreos at 2 in the morning. I streamed again that night. Subscriber count hit 1,203. That's when I should have noticed something was wrong. I didn't notice the delay at first, not consciously, but 2 weeks into my sudden growth, during a stream where I was trying a new eyeshadow pattern, I blinked and caught my reflection doing it a half-second late. I stopped mid-sentence, stared at the mirror behind me. My reflection stared back, perfectly synchronized again. I must have imagined it. The stream was lagging maybe, or some glitch between my camera and the broadcast, but chat had noticed too. Anyone else see that? Someone typed. See what? I asked, forcing brightness into my voice. Your reflection blinked weird. Camera lag, probably, I said, and moved on to demonstrate a smoky eye technique I'd learned from YouTube. But my hands felt unsteady. I kept glancing at the mirror between blending brushes, watching my reflection watch me back. The subscriber count hit 3,000 3 days later. The delay got worse with every 100 followers. The numbers and the wrongness seemed connected somehow, though I couldn't explain how. My reflection moved just behind me now, a shadow puppet struggling to keep up with its source. During a cooking stream, I smiled at a joke in chat, and my reflection's smile came 2 full seconds late, stretching across its face like something remembering how happiness was supposed to look. Chat noticed. Of course they noticed. "This is unsettling," someone typed. "Is this part of the bit?" asked another. "What bit?" I said, whisking eggs too hard, trying to keep my voice level. "The mirror thing, the delay, it's creepy as hell, but I can't stop watching." Then someone else, "Don't fix it, this is your thing now." I stared at that comment. Dozens of people reacted to it with emojis, hearts, fire, 100% signs. They wanted this. Whatever was happening, they were here for it. I ended the stream early, claiming technical difficulties, but my subscriber count climbed even after I went offline. 5,000, 7,000, by morning, 10,438. I crossed the 10,000 subscribers sometime while I was asleep. That's when the mirror stopped pretending. The growth was exponential now, unstoppable. I should have been celebrating. Instead, I stood in front of the mirror with my phone camera recording, watching my reflection move independently. I raised my left hand. My reflection raised its right, but slowly, deliberately, like it was deciding whether to cooperate. I tried to move the mirror. It wouldn't budge. The frame had seemed light at the estate sale, easily carried. Now it felt bolted to the wall, though I knew it wasn't. I pushed harder. The brass was cold enough to hurt. The glass flexed. I jerked my hands back, heart hammering. Glass doesn't flex. Glass doesn't move like skin, rippling under pressure. I reached out again, barely touching the surface, and felt it give slightly, like pressing into something soft and alive. Then something on the other side pressed back, palms against the glass from the inside, my reflection, pushing toward me with hands that matched mine exactly. I stumbled away with a sound I don't want to remember making. That night, I didn't stream. I sat on my couch with all the lights on and searched for information about the mirror's previous owner. The estate sale woman had mentioned a sister who performed, died young. I found the obituary after 20 minutes of digging through local news archives. Constance Whitmore, 1924 to 1952, vaudeville actress. No cause of death listed. The obituary mentioned she'd been known for her uncanny stage presence, her ability to command an audience. I found a photograph from one of her performances. On stage, spotlit, beautiful. Behind her, just visible in the wings, was the mirror. My phone buzzed, stream notifications. People were asking when I'd be live again. My subscriber count had reached 15,000. I streamed the next night because I didn't know what else to do. The mirror sat behind me, brass gleaming under the ring light. Chat exploded the moment I went live. "There she is! We missed you! Something's different about you today!" I tried to act normal, talked about my day, answered questions, demonstrated a new skincare routine I'd been trying, but I couldn't stop checking the mirror. My reflection wasn't matching my movements at all anymore. It sat motionless while I moved, head tilted slightly, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. "Your reflection isn't moving," someone in chat typed. "I noticed that too," said another. "Is this an effect? How are you doing this?" I opened my mouth to explain, to make some excuse, but my reflection moved first. It leaned forward, closer to the glass, and smiled. Not my smile, something else wearing my face. Chat went wild. "Holy shit! This is the best content I've ever seen. How is this possible? This feels honest," someone typed. That word, honest, like what was happening was more real than anything I'd done before. I reached for the stream end button, but my hand wouldn't complete the motion. My fingers hovered over my keyboard, trembling, unable to click. In the mirror, my reflection sat back, satisfied. I could feel it then, something hooking into me. Puppet strings I couldn't see. My mouth moved and words came out. "Thank you all so much for watching," my voice said, cheerful and bright. "I've got such an exciting stream planned. Subscriber count 22,000. I stayed live for 6 hours. I couldn't stop. My body moved through its routine, demonstrating products, answering questions, laughing at jokes in chat, but I was somewhere else, somewhere deep behind my own eyes, screaming into a space that swallowed sound. My reflection controlled my movements now, wearing me like a costume, and it was better at being me than I had ever been. Confident, engaging, magnetic. When the stream finally ended, I collapsed. My muscles ached like I'd run a marathon. I crawled to my laptop and I pulled up my archived streams, scrolling back through weeks of content. The earliest ones looked normal, me being me, awkward and trying too hard. But in the most recent stream, when I paused the frame and looked closely at the mirror behind me, I saw them. Faces in the glass. Faint, translucent, people who weren't there, pressed against the surface from the inside. A woman in clothes from the 1920s, a man in what looked like a 1970s suit jacket. Others behind them, harder to see, stacking into the mirror's depths like photographs layered on top of each other. I slammed the laptop shut, breathing hard. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. I was exhausted, seeing things, stress and lack of sleep playing tricks. I didn't open the laptop again for 2 days. My phone kept buzzing. Notifications, comments, people asking when I'd stream next. The subscriber count kept climbing, even with nothing broadcasting. 35,000, then 40,000. The numbers rose whether I performed or not, like they'd taken on momentum independent of anything I did. When I finally tried to stream again, 3 days later, my body walked to the setup on its own. I couldn't stop it. My hands positioned everything perfectly, checking the lighting, adjusted the camera. My subscriber count had reached 51,000. As I went live, I felt myself being pushed back further, compressed into a smaller and smaller space behind my own eyes. Chat greeted me like a celebrity. "Finally! We've been waiting! You look amazing! Best streamer on the platform!" My reflection waved at the camera. It was in control now. I was the echo, the delayed response, the shadow struggling to keep up. I tried to scream. My face smiled. I tried to reach for the keyboard. My hands gestured gracefully, emphasizing a point about the importance of consistent content. "I've been thinking about doing more regular streams," my voice said. "Maybe even daily. You all deserve more content." Somewhere in the tiny space I still occupied, I forced myself to look at the archived stream on my phone. I had to know. I pulled up the most recent broadcast and paused it, zooming in on the mirror. The faces were clearer now. I could see their mouths moving. The woman in 1920s clothing, the man in the suit, the teenage girl in the 1990s fashion I hadn't noticed before. All of them repeating the same motion over and over, lips forming shapes I couldn't hear. I turned up the volume. No sound came from them, but I could read their lips now. The woman, 15,000, 15,000, 15,000. The man, 2,000, 2,000. The girl, 37,000. Numbers, they were counting. Viewer counts? Final tallies? The price they'd paid for whatever the mirror had offered them. I tried to drop my phone, but my hands wouldn't obey. My body was still streaming, still performing, while I watched from inside my own skull. The mirror behind me reflected the room, but I wasn't in it anymore. The space where I should have been stood empty. My body continued performing in front of the camera, better than I'd ever been. But the mirror showed the truth. I was somewhere else now. The stream ended after 4 hours. My body stood, stretched, waved goodbye to the camera. Outside the mirror, my empty body checked analytics, 73,000 subscribers, trending on 3 different platforms, comments calling it the most authentic content they'd ever seen, the most real. Inside the glass, I pressed my hands against the surface and felt others behind me. Constance, the man in the suit jacket, the teenage girl, all the performers who'd wanted to be seen badly enough to look into the glass that looked back. The mirror had been traveling for a long time, finding new stages, new audiences, vaudeville to television to streaming. The medium changed, the hunger didn't. My body sat down at the computer and started planning content. 7 uploads a week, collaborations, sponsored posts. The growth would be exponential now. Nothing held it back anymore. I pressed my palms against the glass and felt my mouth moving on its own, forming the same shape as the others. 73,000, 73,000. In 3 days, my body would hit 100,000. A week after that, 1,000,000 wouldn't be unreasonable. The mirror reflected my body perfectly now, because my body wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to the audience. It always had. That's what I'd wanted, wasn't it? To be seen, to matter, to have people care about what I did. The mirror had just helped me understand the price. Behind me, in the darkness, I could feel them Hundreds of faces waiting their turn. Thousands, maybe. All of us archived. All of us counting. All of us finally, truly seen. And that, my followers, is the end of this story. Have you ever reflected on the price of fame and attention? Leave a comment below. Thanks for listening. Also, I just opened my Buy Me a Coffee page. There's a link in the description. It's totally optional. But if you do enjoy my work and want to help support this channel, click the link and make a donation. And especially check out the next story in my archive of the Unnatural series or any of the other videos. Until the next time, have a frightfully fun day.